So if you guys didn't know, I made an operating system entirely in Penguin Mine. It's called Jrhægq OS for some reason. You might see the official example distro here, but we'll get to that later. So we just download it. Let me download the okay. And now let's open Penguin Mine. So here's the stuff it can do. It can do this version thing. It can list files in the system. It can create files. It can write things to files. It can read from files. It can delete files. It can clear the screen in case you want to. It can sleep until it presses any key. You can reboot the system. You can also shut it down. Boot it up by clicking the flag right here. So for example, I want to make a file that says, "Hi, I'm using Jrhægq OS" for some reason. So first, I check if there's any files. There's none at the moment. So I create the file. Of course, you can name it whatever you want. And as you can see, it's right here. And then I edit the file. So like, hello, I am using Jrhægq OS for some reason. And when you read the file, there it is. Now, because it is open source, as you saw right here, I shared the source. Now, because it is open source, anyone can modify and redistribute it without my permission. I don't care if that's my permission. I don't care if I don't. You can modify however you want. One way of doing this is is making distros like in Linux. So you know how Linux is just a kernel, and so a lot of people make their own operating system based on Linux. These are called distros. They're called Linux distros. So Ubuntu, Arch Linux, Fedora, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Gentoo, and there's a lot more. Now, one thing these distros all have in common is a package manager. And I actually set up some rules if you want to make a Jrhægq OS distribution. So first, you have to put your distribution name between these two blocks, and your distro version between these two blocks. And you know how I said package manager is the thing in common of on all of those Linux distros I showed you? Well, you have to make a package manager simulator because it's Penguin mod, so who cares? So if you use Jrhægq OS itself as a base, so it's based on Jrhægq OS itself, like directly, you you should give it a unique name. I made some examples. I made up the names. You can make them for you. You can make them if you don't want to. I don't care. So, for example, it can be pay ppkg or spot, whatever. If you use another distro as a base, so for example, if you base your distro on another distro, then you should use the package manager of that distro. So, for example, if your distro is, I don't know, Formosa based, just use ppkg because it's the package manager of Formosa. And your package manager must have the following command definitions: install a package and remove a package. I actually made a distro to to like demonstrate it, to demonstrate what I mean. I called it Snapcrag. So as you can see, there is a bit more code here because I included a package manager. It's also called Snap because Snapcrag is named after the package manager because that's the name I came up with first. So as you can see, I put the distro name between the base name and the host name, and the distro version between the base version and the made in Penguin mod. Let me demonstrate to you what a package manager should do. So as you can see, it has all the commands the original Jrhægq OS has, but including the Snap package manager. So far I created the color package and installed the color package. Now I'm gonna go through that in detail a bit later. So you know what this does? You can change the text color. And another thing you should add is the remove. Is to remove. Oops. Here it is. Here's the right command. I'm sorry. Sorry if I got this wrong. Anyways. And as you can see it. Oh wait, I forgot to. I always forget stuff. So as you can see, it removed the color package. And the commands no longer work. It just gives you a hint. Now the other package I made is the space package, which is a bit smaller. But it's a game. You use space to shoot, by the way. Oh, you use WSD to move and space to shoot. And if you touch an asteroid, it just quits to the CLI, the command line interface. So let's go through the commands, the package manager in depth, like I promised you. So the add command just creates. So this mount color here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find out. Here it is. Let me see if I can find it. Define mount. Here it is. It creates an empty archive and creates every file needed for the archive. And then it transfers the package to the root folder. Transfer is okay. Proceed with installation. Yes. Okay. So the prepared transfer just switches to root, make the directory of the folder of the name of the package, and then it transfers each file to the root along with its contents. It basically switches the archive named color, deletes the file, the original file, switches to archive named root, goes to directory /color/ and write file content text type. Yeah, okay. Write file, the file with its contents, and you get it. And then it unmounts, and then it quote unquote unmounts, where in this case removes the current archive, remove the color archive, and switches to root. Now the remove package is a lot simpler than that. The remove package is a lot simpler than that. It just deletes the color directory because the install packages only check the directory. So I actually didn't need all that. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this showcase. As you can see, the base is 0.1, and I might make some updates later. I might just make some updates later. So I hope you liked the tutorial. I mean the showcase, sorry. And also hope you know how to make a Jrhægq OS distro. I really hope you pronounce it as Jrhægq. Just pronounce it as Jrhægq OS because that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. Anyways, bye.